Microsoft $100 pre-alpha Forza Motorsport keeps getting worse. The most bugged and disappointing game I have ever played at launch. I have been playing it because I have faith that it will get better over time and because there's nothing else to play with a similar online system on PC that is basically a competitive simcade racing game. In many players, it has built some kind of Stockholm syndrome. We get it's 2023, the companies are so used to launch unfinished games to furtherly fix it as years pass because people are going to buy them anyways and call it the best game in the world because nowadays we have people that have never played games in the past and their opinion is completely biased. It is what it is and we need to settle for less and have lower expectations for new games. But this, a game that looks at least 3 years to develop or even 6, backed up by one of the most powerful companies in the world, launching like this and charging you $70 plus that is supposedly built from the ground up. It's completely unacceptable. Yet it received decent ratings in many sites, over 8. 1 to 10, a rating technique I don't really agree much in the way they apply it. I was about to buy Project Cars 3 before this game, but sadly Project Cars 2 and 3, Project Cars 2 is very well made for the time by the way, but unfortunately Project Cars servers are dead, they are not giving support, removed from Steam, etc. And we can remember Forza Motorsport 5 and Project Cars 3 were demonized in their launches, despite of being better made by much. Thereby the only way to have a decent multiplayer experience is to play Forza Motorsport this year. Forza Motorsport 2023 probably has the best controller support and gameplay I have ever played in a simcade racing game, which is expected because Turn 10 has more than 20 years of experience doing racing games for consoles, which is great. They nailed it with the controller experience. Forza Motorsport 2023 reminds me to the gameplay of Forza Motorsport 3 and 4 perfection. The force feedback is acceptable compared to the previous Forzas. The exaggerated tire wear of the multiplayer races is a great implementation to dynamize the matchmaking racing. You don't need to wait long periods of time to qualify and play the actual race in the matchmaking, although the previously mentioned like the tires in the matchmaking system only take a few lines of code to implement in any racing game in the market right now. It has cool original circuits like Hakone and Maple Valley. Those are the few things that keep me playing this game and I actually enjoy sometimes. If only they fix it, but I'm starting to think they are not going to fix it at least in a couple of years. Despite of all the updates since the release date of the game, it is still rather unplayable for many. It's more bugged than ever before. It's crashing more than in the first day. I get stuck in a fake loading screen when the race is about to start and I can supposedly select the fuel and the tires right before the start. The feature multiplayer doesn't load. I need to restart the game because it bugs in the menu, so I get stuck in a loading screen that only brings me back to the main menu when I try to select multiplayer. Dirty racers ram me and the AI thinks it's my fault, henceforth I'm taken to the lower license level where I get rammed and blame again and finally end up in a positive feedback of it's not your fault but it's your fault, so we will put you with dirty drivers that will put the blame on you. And it continues to repeat. Sometimes it works, I commit a mistake for being careless and I get licensed down. I deserve it, so it's great. Inconsistency is the word for this. But what are they doing as they update the game? They brought to the game car body kits that have been existing since Forza Horizon 3, yet they didn't even import them correctly. I truly wonder if the devs themselves are at least testing the game. At least testing once before taking any major decision. You can see here, because I didn't want to bother with keep the players busy leveling up the car, even though you have the well-earned credits right after buying the car, like any normal game will let you. The concept is not so bad, but it is really poorly implemented, and the update didn't really fix it. They just lowered the level to unlock some stuff and that's it. If anything else was implemented, it is not even noticeable enough to claim it as a fix. And bad news, one of the body kits is from the Nissan Silvia. This translates to, we are never remodeling this car like many others, settle with them. Every update I read the report, and to my surprise, the bugs corrected are bugs that I haven't even noticed out of the uncountable amount I have experienced since the launch. If you have Game Pass for other reasons other than this game, that's great. If you want Game Pass for Forza Motorsport, That's good. You will have a decent online experience if they fix it in the future, which I hope they will. Like Xbox Studios have done in previous games such as Halo Infinite, where 343 Studios kept improving the game as time passed. The difference being that those games were not so broken at launch, were not downgraded at launch, and we were not as lied to. Otherwise, I don't recommend you buying the game. Maybe a Game Pass subscription. In case you don't like Forza, you can play something else at least. But if they end up in the future fixing this game, I think it has potential and future not to be the Forza we knew before. The single player is bad, the game overall as piece of art is dead, soulless, boring, but as a competitive simcade multiplayer game like iRacing but lighter, that you can pay as a full game or subscription like Game Pass that includes many other games, I think the concept is great. The quality is lower because Game Pass has brought some issues to Xbox Studios, as we have noticed with this game as a great example, but I think this can become an iRacing Lite that you can pay for with Game Pass. On top of that, play other games, have fun, great controller supporting gameplay, easy to make lobbies to play with friends, if only they fix it. Perhaps that's an intentional actual reboot Turn 10 has done to this game. Intentional or not, they can make it work and worth it with a little bit of effort at least. I know racing game developers and developers in general are in a really hard time in the industry because everything in the world is going downhill, I understand it, but they are backed up by Microsoft. Please,